Have a seat, sir.
Restarting this session for the 9:30 board on April 22nd, 2010.
Would you state your full name and date of birth, please?
I was born July 8, 1967.
Mr. Westray, you know why you're here?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you explain to us what happened?
Okay. I was going to Mercy Hospital to visit a friend who was having some tests done, my ex-mother-in-law actually. I was carrying my gun openly in a holster on my hip. When I approached the front door, I read the signage on their front door that said Michigan law prohibits carrying concealed weapons in this facility. I was not carrying concealed, so I went about my business. While I was in the waiting room, a couple of security personnel came in, asked to talk to me, and I said, yeah, and we went out in the hallway, and they informed me that they didn't allow any weapons in their facility. I said, okay, I didn't see that posted in any of your entrances. And we talked about the posting that they did have, and that it considered it was dealing with concealed, and I wasn't carrying that way. But they asked me to leave. I said, are you asking me to leave, or are you asking me to get rid of my weapon? If I conceal it in my truck, or secure it in my truck, can I come back in? They said, yeah, that was fine. So then I asked them where the nearest exit was, and they pointed it out. I secured it in my truck and came back in. They met me again at the front door, and we talked a little bit more about the posting on the door. They asked for my name and stuff, and everything was fine. They said they weren't going to pursue anything. I said, okay.
When was this?
When the date?
March 24th?
Yeah, March 24th.
Just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
How did you get there?
How did I get to the hospital? I drove.
And did you have your gun on your hip when you drove?
Yeah.
You don't have to see that.
He has a permit.
No, he has a permit. He
He
has a CCW permit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I have a CPL.
Okay.
The reason that we brought him in was because he was having a problem or an argument with whether or not he can open carry into a hospital at the same time he has a concealed weapons permit.
I see. Okay, I understand now.
And it's my understanding that your claim is that because they didn't have a sign on the door saying you couldn't open carry, that you could open carry in there since you weren't carrying your weapon concealed.
Right.
Okay. You can't.
Because the gun-free zones don't apply to a CPL holder.
Okay. Here's the issue with that. Okay. If you have a CCW, right? Can you carry your weapon in a hospital concealed?
Not concealed, no.
No. Can you carry it in a hospital when it's open?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Because if you are carrying open, there are places that you cannot carry, which is in a hospital. Okay?
Can you carry it concealed?
No, you can't. You can't carry it concealed in a hospital. You can't carry it open in a hospital. If you are carrying a weapon concealed, okay, you're in violation of the concealed weapons law.
Correct.
Right? If you're carrying it open, you're in violation of this law.
I don't read it that way.
Okay. Have you gone to law school?
No.
Have you spent out years as a prosecuting attorney?
No.
Okay. I'm telling you, you're reading it wrong. Okay? The only reason you didn't get charged that day and your gun confiscated is because I talked to the officer that day that was there and said, no, we'll bring him in and see what he thinks. Okay?
Okay.
You cannot open carry and say, I have a CCW permit, so I can open carry wherever I want because the open carry doesn't apply to a person who carries a concealed weapon.
But that's what the gun statute says.
No, that's not what it says. Because the gun statute says if you have a concealed weapons permit, you're bound by the laws of the concealed weapons permit.
You're actually circumventing the law, attempting to circumvent the law. That's what you're doing.
Okay, hang on. I would like to show you something. The Michigan State Police agrees with me on this. This is, by the way, the information that I sent the hospital after that. Okay, this is the statute where a person licensed by the state or another state to carry a concealed weapon is exempt from the gun-free zones. That's what it says. Okay. There are three opinions here, one of which is from Governor Granholm that states that is correct. Senator Peruzzi says they agree, and the Michigan State Police Sergeant Thomas Deasy agrees, says the analysis is correct. Non-CPL pistol-free zones do not apply to CPL holders.
Did you have your weapon concealed?
No.
Okay. There's a difference. There's a difference between opening carry a weapon and concealed carry a weapon, okay? And even if I buy into your theory that says that you're exempt from the open carry because you have a CCW permit, the CCW permit does not allow you to carry in a hospital, does it?
It allows me to carry openly also.
No, it does not. Where does it say that? Show me where it says that it allows you to disobey other laws. Because the section that you're pointing to has to do with open carry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, open carry. It says if you have a concealed weapons permit, then the concealed weapons permit is what you have to go by. It doesn't say that you can then go open carry all these places, because even if you're doing that and you have your CCW permit, you can't carry in those places with the CCW.
Not concealed, no.
You can't carry open either. The permit doesn't allow you to open carry wherever you want. Otherwise, it would be an open carry permit.
Well, there's no laws against open carry. That's why there's no.
There is laws against open carry. It's possession of a firearm in premises prohibited.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, there are such places as gun-free zones that you can't open carry. I'll agree with that.
Okay. And just because you have a concealed weapons permit doesn't mean that you can then open carry in those gun-free zones when your concealed weapons permit says that you can't carry in those zones.
I disagree, obviously.
Okay. So what should happen then is I should charge you with it.
Okay.
Take your weapon, and then you can appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem.
All right.
So where do we, so the question before the board now, is it a question of a concealed weapons permit and a violation of law, or?
I mean, technically, he committed a violation of the open carry and the CCW law when he carried into the hospital.
All right.
There are parts that are not covered, that are prohibited by open carry, that are covered by CCW, and there are parts that are covered by CCW that aren't carried by open carry.
Okay, so your contention is that you weren't in violation because it wasn't concealed.
Right.
Okay. And then you did some research, and there's some opinions out there.